First of all, that the issue of children, especially women and children, because we recognize their vulnerability, it's a very dear thematic area to the Commission. And so there is a department that has been specifically created to cater for women and children. And that's number one. That's how important it is to us. So we have that. And then we were parties, to advocating for the passage of the Child Rights Act in Nigeria and in the States. We followed up because we have offices in the 36 states in the country. So we're watching this very closely and advocating and making sure. And then in the state offices too, we do sensitization. We in the state offices as well as the headquarters, we do school sensitization. Every month, we go to schools and we educate them on the Child Rights Act, on their own rights and their own obligations too, because children, they have rights and they also have, obligations to play. So we do that, and the idea is to catch them young, so that children grow with the culture of respect for human rights. In that way, we are hoping that the generation that is coming up, will know what human rights are, and will grow up with that culture of respect for human rights. So probably in future we should have less abuse, of human rights in the country generally. And then we also handle cases of human rights violations against children. Almost every day we have complaints coming to our office, and we seek redress on behalf of the children. One issue that we've had recently, coming to our office, child abandonment, it's very high. We have what we call a dashboard report that we do every month, reporting cases, that have been reported to us, figures, and we noticed that from January till now, the figure for abandonment of children is quite high. So we're thinking of having like a round table, kind of thing, nationwide town hall meeting to discuss with stakeholders, the community leaders, the religious leaders, women leaders, to find out what is really happening and then forge a way forward, on how to tackle these issues. Because as we are campaigning for the rights of children to have access to their fundamental human rights, we notice that, the cultural issues and some other religious issues, are still, playing a negative role, that it's affecting, those rights. So we want to, as much as possible, carry everybody along, so that we will see how, we can continue to reduce the figures and not allow these figures of abuse of children to keep going up. We're also investigating the issue of abuse of children in Borno State. There was a report that children are being abused, especially the returnees, those that are returning from captivity, from the insurgents. A lot of these children are being recovered. A lot of them are escaping, and then they are being discriminated against. When they return home, people look at them. These are Boko Haram children. These are Boko Haram wives, and so they have that issue. Integrating back into the society. So we're investigating that. And if you remember, not too long ago, there was this Reuters report that 10,000 abortions were done by the military, in insurgency in Borno State, in the Northeast generally. And the Human Rights Commission quickly took that up and set up a panel of inquiry, and we investigated. Thankfully, the report came up, I think, 2 weeks ago, and the military was not indicted. So those are some of the things that the Commission.
I want to find out, Does your commission have any support system for victims of child abuse?
Not really, not really. But what we do is that we have partners, NGOs that work in that area. So what we do is that when we have victims like that, or survivors of human rights, of rape and all other sexual abuse, we link them up to our partners, and they access help, maybe shelter and some other health support that they may need.
Because